Hey there everyone, Taha here from Agar, and today I'm joined by none other than Muhammad. Those of you who've been following Agar for some time will probably recognize him right away. We hunt together, we distill stuff together, and now for the first time we've been making perfumes together as well. So in today's video I'm going to be talking about the new collection, the second collection, which you can see over here. But before that, just a few words on the first collection. So there were quite a lot of inquiries. People were asking, you know, what does this smell like? What does Kinam Attar smell like? What is Kinam? What does Sorio smell like? What does Al Jazab smell like? And you know, I thought instead of trying to explain, I'm just going to try to I'm going to let everyone just experience it for themselves. So Kinam, for instance, the first rendition, this was to emulate not just Kinam, but something very specific, which is Brunei white Kinam. And that's very different from, for instance, red Kinam, green Kinam, and so on. They're all very different. So instead of words, I don't think I can describe it in a way, in a video, to fully convey what it's like. It's more of an experience. Likewise, al-jazab. So it comes from the Arabic word, the root word is jazb, which literally means to tug, to pull. So al-jazab is the one that tugs, the one that pulls. And the idea is that it's an attention grabber. And in fact, I got so many messages from people saying that, you know, they applied it and they went to work, for instance, and they just couldn't concentrate on their work. And likewise, when they were driving, or someone, for example, they put it on right before going to sleep, and poor guy couldn't go to sleep. So that is al-jazab. And then we have sorio. Again, this is an experience. So right now, everything, what I'm trying to say is these are more of experiences, more so than just a pretty scent. Yeah, they smell nice as well, but it's an overall experience. So I'm very glad that the first collection was well received, and now it's time for our second collection. Okay. So this time we have Agar Attar, we have Neriko, we have Agar Parisien, and finally Oud Labani. So a few words on these. Now, the base for all of these is actually tinctures. So quite literally, every single droplet inside these is aromatic. So much so that when I sat down and did the calculations for these, meaning for the potency, the concentration, if I compare the weight of the oil portion and then compare that weight with the tinctures. So for instance, Neriko has propolis, it has strawberry, and I'm forgetting something else, vanilla, I guess. Yeah. So the total weight of just the tinctures and the extracts. So this versus the weight of pure alcohol, pure ethanol, the difference in weight essentially is the aromatic part of the tincture. And so when I add that to the oils, which are in these, on average, now this is going to boggle your mind, I'm sure, it comes to around a 66% concentration, which is just unbelievable. It's baffling for me as well because generally for my stuff, if I go over 35%, it stops spraying. It's going to kind of spit from the nozzle. But I'm assuming that because it's in a tincture form, you know, it's not creating that problem in the case of these perfumes. So let's go through them one by one. So we have Agar Attar. In some ways, it's very similar to Kinam Attar. It gives a very authentic oud experience. Whereas Kinam Attar was, well, you didn't get to smell the Kinam Attar, but it was a very true to life representation of Bruneian white Kinam. In other words, it's something very, very, very specific within the overall oud spectrum. On the other hand, and in fact quite the opposite, we have Agar Attar, which is an amalgamation of pretty much every single oud profile. So you have the bittersweet elements of Indo-Chinese, you have the 7-Up and cola and spices of Malaysian, there is the vanilla of Malinao. There's the honey of Bruneian. There is the jungle and earth of Papua. And so basically they're all put together. So in that sense, it is quite the opposite of Kinamatar. Then we have Neriko. Neriko it's a very, very darling aroma. It's a very Japanese scent, again, Japanese incense. Primarily it's agarwood and sandalwood. That's that's a primary focus of this perfume. Every aristocratic family, they had their own secret recipe for Neriko. And it used to be like the signature, and it was a heavily guarded secret. So this particular Neriko is like an overall, it's like not a very specific batch of Neriko, it's just the overall experience of Neriko. And Neriko incense is basically little round pellets, which are gently heated. They are not burnt, and it has a very creamy, sweet, very darling kind of aroma. There is spices, there is herbs, there is woods. So that is Neriko. Then we go to Agar Parisien. This is the one where quite a lot of people were worried that I'm not going to be able to pull it off, considering the fact that, of course, I'm an oud distiller, I'm an oud-centric guy. However, this is based on not just Fouget and Chypre combined in a sense, but in fact I refer to quite a few vintage recipes as well. And the way this has been formulated, there's actually quite a lot of tricks that were employed, including fractionation of oud oil itself. And that's basically to mimic the function of certain synthetic compounds. So today, French perfumery is pretty much synonymous with the use of synthetics. Now this is 100% natural, so there are certain things we got to do to try to replicate. Now, for instance, iso-e-super, this is one of the compounds which is quite popular in French perfumery. It's even though it has an aroma, it has a certain function, and that's to make like this scent cloud, and it improves projection. And so I'm not going to share how I achieved it, but this, among other functions, were achieved with basically different clever distillation tricks and so on and so forth. So that is Agar Parisien. It's I would say it's quite a lot like El Jazab. It's a French Jazab, basically. It's also an attention grabber. It's very beautiful. If you love green notes like oak moss and whatnot, you are going to love this one. There's a bunch of very precious stuff in there. There's also 3 varieties of ambergris as well. So that is Parisien. Then we have Lubani. Oud Lubani. Okay. This is possibly the longest lasting natural perfume on earth. The base is basically our own extracts and tinctures. And you remember when I applied a little bit to you, it's almost like it becomes kind of sticky, like glue almost. So it has longevity, but it also has a lot of projection as well. And this one is a very, very true-to-life replication of basically burning an agarwood chip with a frankincense tear on top. I don't like using cade, birch tar, this tar, that tar. There's none of those tars. There is a smokiness to this, but it's achieved naturally, or rather I should say like without any of these tars. So no tar business here. It's just a very authentic smoke note, very different from what's generally used, like cade and whatnot. So essentially you put this on, and in a sense it's kind of like Kinamatar, which also had like this smoke vibe. And yeah, it's a very, very genuine incense experience. The tinctures, I think, were very, very fascinating, right? We utilized strawberry tincture.
Yeah.
What else was there? Vanilla, propolis. I forgot to mention, Agar Parisien has authentic actual coumarin in it as well, extracted from tonka beans. Yeah.
Yeah, that's bean.
Yeah, those beans, yeah. Tonka bean. Yeah. Okay, so now a word on some of our future projects. I am actually very excited about the prospects, these new possibilities that have opened up because of this new focus of mine, which is perfumes. And Muhammad here, he's going to be helping me with acquiring some new raw materials.
Yeah,
can you give some examples of what you want to do?
Yeah, because when I saw this, and then I with Taha do this, and then we need new method, new aroma.
Yeah.
That means some before this we know this is around us in Malaysia, but we don't know how to use it. And then something like before this we go to jungle hunting something like that. We know that's right.
Yeah.
We know that
so many aromatic species.
We know that's
here.
flower. We know that's. But we're not too focused about them.
Correct.
Because we just focus about gaharu.
Yeah.
We only focus about gaharu.
Yeah. Gaharu is the Malay word for oud.
Yeah. And now we after that, and then I know about this, and then Taha said, we need new method, new aroma. That means something like combination.
We're going to broaden our horizons.
Yeah.
And having experienced so many different aromatics. I mean, some of the stuff I don't even know the names of. Like when we're in the jungle, there are so many aromatic materials.
Because every country name is different. We need to find the scientific name.
Right.
If we don't want to know the true name, is scientific name.
So what are some of the examples of?
For the example, we try to akawangi.
Akawangi, that is vetiver. This one.
Vetiver.
So akawangi, which is vetiver.
Yeah, kayu putih.
Kayu putih. I have no clue what the scientific or English name is.
And also the cendana Malaysia.
Cendana Malaysia.
Cendana Malaysia means not the.
It's not real sandalwood.
Sandalwood, no.
But
no sandalwood.
It's an aromatic tree.
Yeah, this Malaysian people, Malay people call cendana because it's quite same cendana, but the scientifically not sandalwood.
No clue. I have no clue what it is.
Not even sibling, not also family.
Correct.
But just called.
Yeah.
And
I've
also,
smelled it, and I can say it's neither amorous, nor is it Buddha wood or Siam wood or some of these other woods. I don't know what it is, but
also
it's
Raja Kayu.
Raja Kayu as well. I have no clue what that's called, but it's one of those interesting aromatic species. What else? There's this flower. Remember the fuzzy flower?
Yeah.
What's that called?
Many flowers, because now I want to find the scientific name, because some Malay said the cempaka.
Well, according to the leaves, you mentioned that the leaf, acacia or something.
Yeah, same like acacia, but acacia flower is not same. Because acacia flower something like yellow, this is white color.
Right. What I can say though is the aroma is quite similar to mimosa. It's a very honeyed, sweet, very pretty, very heavy kind of aroma. Yeah, so these are just some examples of what else?
Pomelo.
Your mother has pomelo as well. So we want to distill the rinds of pomelo
many
as
kind
well.
Of the grow in Malaysia.
Correct. Yeah.
Many varieties we don't try yet.
That's right. There's even a very insanely beautiful flower which I plan to tincture as well. I can't remember the name. Actually, this one I know the scientific name of. It's the word Kedah is in there, and Muhammad is actually from the state of Kedah, so that's where the factory is. That's where all our oils are produced, and it's a beautiful smell. It's kind of like a cross between. It's a little bit like osmanthus, because it has these peachy and tea-like facets. And then some, and then some. It's like a beautiful love child of, I guess, like, I would say, osmanthus and lily, I think. It's something like that, like a stargazer lily, for example. So the point is we want to...
Yeah, because we also discuss about what we want to do about the main oil, main character. And then also the tincture is also the backup from the main.
Correct,
the tincture is also we need to find another something like flower,
right.
For backup the.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so the aim is, I had this attar back in the day called Java, and this was inspired by my first ever trip to Java and the aromas that I experienced there. And what I want to do is something similar with Malaysia, because here as well, everything is so vibrant, so aromatic, and I want it to be like a tribute to Malaysia. So that's basically the aim, to make a perfume which is
Yeah.
truly
And also
Malaysian.
we not try the highland, something like flower and tree from highland Cameron Highland.
Oh, right.
And
Yes,
also
yes.
we not try it, and also
Right.
because that's different also from the
Absolutely.
mainland.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. So there you have it, guys. That's a sneak peek at what's going to happen over the next. Well, I mean, now this is going to be standard Agar production. I think we can now share a little bit more about another. It was going to be a secret, but okay, I guess I can go ahead and share this as well. There's going to be a Vietnam distillation as well, which we are very excited about. In fact, we were just discussing some of the. We're not going to share all the little secrets, but basically, with distillation, actually, there's so many possibilities, so many things you can do, so many techniques you can employ to really personalize the aroma, to really make it behave and smell the way you want it to. And so that's what we've been discussing. And the plan is that hopefully, if the yield is good enough, there's going to be a standalone oud oil, and then there's going to be a perfume, which is going to be a kinamatar, and that's going to utilize this Vietnamese oil as well. Yeah.
Also, this is limited,
Very limited edition.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just even the nature of the raw materials, they can never be replicated again. That's true.
And also, if after this we want to do like this again, also something like oud also.
Correct. Yeah.
Same we do. Sometimes we cannot find it again.
Yeah. Can't replicate exactly.
Yeah.
You can perhaps make something which is like a
even
sibling.
even I in Kedah.
Yeah.
And then I hunting kayu from Kedah also.
Yeah.
I do. Sometimes I cannot do it.
Absolutely.
Same.
Not sometimes, but you never can.
Yeah,
It's never going to be the same.
Many times we want to do
Yeah.
the best one.
Absolutely.
Also.
Yeah. And so actually in the previous video, I talked about this exact phenomenon, and I mentioned that wild oud is exactly like humans. You're not going to find two the exact same. And because every tree it's different.
Yeah. Also
right?
age, also sand, also
The soil,
land, soil also.
correct, yeah. The altitude.
Yeah.
What else? Babi hutan. Yeah. Basically
Yeah.
the different insults that the tree has endured, and every insult will result in a different scent profile. Meaning the tree reacts to an infection different from, let's say, someone takes a parang and
resin.
The oleo resin
Yeah.
itself, it's going to be different. The nature of it, the composition of that oleo resin is going to be different. Likewise, whether the tree was growing on a rocky ground versus
something like antibody. Something like tree fighting with the
with whatever stress that is. Correct. Yeah. So just like if you bang your knee, your body's reaction is not going to be the same as a paper cut versus a flu, for example.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why, and you can hear it directly from an agarwood hunter. Every wild oud is always different. There is no such thing as an oud aroma. Do you think there is one oud smell, or they're all different? I mean, we have cooked how many together? I forget.
Yeah, many.
Pailen, Prachin,
Yeah.
Akon Rajasima. There are so many ouds in every single one, because these are wild ouds. Every single one
because
is different.
we not do plantation.
Yeah.
We not do inoculation, because if we do plantation in one place,
It's
for
the
same soil, and then we do some method injection for the
Same drilling,
same oil,
same method,
we can get same oil.
Correct,
We maintain something like that.
Correct.
Now we take from wild, and then we find another place, something like that.
Yeah.
That's very different.
Absolutely, and that's why true wild oud. In fact, I will add to that, not just wild, but high grade and high quality oud. It has just so many different scent facets. And in fact, this painting here, I made this. There was a time when my wood, I had a batch of really amazing Laotian wood from Pongsali, which is northern Laos, and I was dying to distill this. And you know, that's around the time when this whole COVID thing happened.
Yeah.
And so I was unable to go to come to the factory. And so during this time, I made this painting. So this is basically a pusong. Pusong means high mountain. So this is a scenery inspired by northern Laos that I painted, and it was because I wanted to satisfy that that craving that I had.
Because the same time you said you want to go with me.
Correct. Yeah. But then because of the lockdown,
and then but alhamdulillah, the aroma is not disappointing.
Yeah, and I'm going to tie that into what I was saying before this. What I was saying was that when you have different insults, and when you have high grade, and you have, for example, the tree producing resin because of sickness, or because of the nature of the ground itself, and so on and so forth, and you can add more to the list, what you get is an overlap of different scent facets. And you remember for the Laotian oil, it was a very, very complex oil. And when I asked you for your analysis, that's something I like to do. I want to hear his analysis as well. And right away what you said was, it's like so many different scents. So complex. One oil, but so many different facets.
Sometimes this oil, when someone asks, something like Taha asked me, how about this oil? I cannot explain because too many combinations. And then
there's just so much going on. Hard to put it in words. So this oil, by the way, that we're talking about, it was used in Agar. It's called Lao 4K. And 4K, just as a side note, is to denote that it's a very high definition oil, meaning it zooms into every single peak and valley of the oud scent palette. And so it's like very vivid, and it's very, very complex. So Lao 4K, stay tuned. Okay, any parting words? Anything else you want to add? I guess we're just both very excited. So many possibilities, not just for distillation, but for tincturing and making extracts as well. We're going to get right to it. Hopefully the Vietnamese distillation, perhaps, I think in perhaps November. We can start maybe in November. All right. Muhammad, thanks again so much for joining me, and thanks so much for helping with the pouring and so on for the perfumes. All right, guys, until next time, Taha here with Muhammad.